Let's see. We can allow localities to levy a 1% surcharge on sales tax. We get to clear the way for legal marijuana stores. We get $150 million to help pay Virginians who had the temporary Obamacare subsidies under Joe Biden. Now we'll just pick up that cost for $150 million of your and I's tax money. We'll give $50 million to help prevent sewage from floating into the James River here in Richmond. We'll give $10 million to clean up the Sue Smith landfill in Chesterfield County. $15 million we'll give to the demolition of the Richmond Coliseum. And by the way, if you give me that little soundbite from Luke Torian, as far as the data centers, I asked him, does this mean now that you got the budget and you put the new fee, which you don't want to call a tax, but a fee on their energy, does this mean we're done with this whole idea of repealing the sales tax incentive that made us the internet capital of the world? Here's what he had to say.
I think it's extremely important that we understand that when Virginia gives its word, we have a responsibility to keep our word, and that's what we were able to do.
Will this be the end of the talk about repealing the sales tax for data centers?
That is to be determined.
So I guess they have one more piggy bank that they can raid in order to spend more money at Capitol Square. Let's go see what Tom Garrett says, friend of the program. He joins us on Tuesdays to kind of give us the insider's view of what goes on at Capitol Square. Good morning, sir.
First of all, Rich, most trusted politician, and you don't immediately say me, I just want you to know it's actually good form and polite to answer in the ask if these pants make your butt look fat. So I wasn't lying to you. I was telling that I was doing what was right.
Does this make me look fat? Yes, it does. No, that doesn't make you look fat. It's the pep. Well, actually, you've been to dinner with me. That doesn't make you look fat. The fact that you ordered triple French fries makes you fat.
Well, I ate them all, so we're both guilty. Listen, so the teachers get a 4% pay raise, and for those of you out there thinking that that's too much, understand that the discretionary spending in the Commonwealth of Virginia goes up 10% over the same period of time. So 2.5 times as much more discretionary spending over the last budget than the teachers get in a pay raise. This is, and there was no late night phone calling. There was no negotiation at all. The Republican conferees on that budget got the language for the conference report the same time everybody in the general public did. In other words, the people who were on the Appropriations Committee didn't have any information that you didn't have up until 9 o'clock on Friday night.
So where was the discussion?
And by the way, while I'm on a roll.
Okay, go ahead. Let me get out of the way. Go ahead.
If you can never complain about legislating in the budget again, if you voted for that monstrosity, that budget had 200 pages of cannabis and marijuana references. We passed a bill on retail marijuana, which Louise Lucas makes money off of and didn't recuse herself from, in fact, directed it. And, oh, by the way, how many times do we mention marijuana and cannabis in the Virginia state budget? The Virginia budget. How about 1,967 times those things are mentioned in our budget?
All right, hold on. Let me jump in here, because I actually heard when the governor was talking about this and the member of the General Assembly that was kind of behind all this, I heard her talk for 3.5 minutes. She never actually used the word marijuana once. She had one reference to hemp, but never mentioned the word marijuana when they're having their public remarks in front of the governor.
Well, of course not, right? And so the whole data center pedantic sort of histrionic fit was really a head fake. She never cared about data centers. The first time she mentioned tax breaks for data centers was publicly on her social media, which she's famous for, was March 2nd, 2026.
We're talking about Louise Lucas here, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right. But you got to drive that money into your own wallet. So what it was really about was, I'm going to play hard on this so that I can concede, which she knew was coming all along, I would argue, and get what I want to continue to line my pockets, right? I mean, people go, oh, we should never legislate in the budget and then vote for this thing. We should never take them seriously again.
Okay, let's make sure we have this factually correct. One of the big things that has been going on here in Virginia is the fight over data centers. Louise Lucas has said, I'm having a listening tour going around the Commonwealth talking about this. You're telling me that she's so passionate about eliminating the sales tax exemptions for data centers, and this is something she is willing to go fight and take us down to the very bitter moment that we almost had a government shutdown over this, but she didn't actually pick it up as an issue until March 26th of this year, Before that, she never mentioned it. She never opposed it. She never did anything to stop it until this year on March 26th.
March 2nd, 2026, if you go to her X account and look for her to complaining about tax breaks for data centers, it's this year.
Wait a second. Your phone's breaking up. Just a second. Go ahead.
Several years.
Wait a minute. Move back the way you were. Your phone's breaking up.
Okay, she's been the lead Senate budget negotiator for a number of years and not only voted for it, but included it in her budget.
So she never had a problem with this until March 26th because she was looking for ways to find a new piggy bank to raid to pay for all of this nonsense I see in this budget.
No, this is about getting a retail marijuana market. So she had to create a circumstance where Virginia was going to break their word on these tax rebates, which are ridiculous. Don't get me wrong. I've been speaking loudly and publicly about these longer than anyone else. Literally, I have the tape. But this was the head fake. And then what we got instead was 1,967 references to marijuana and cannabis in the Virginia budget, hundreds of pages of marijuana and cannabis market. There's no, and how about that debate? Wait, there wasn't any. There was no debate on any of this. We gavelled in and we're out 28 minutes later.
Well, I sat there through the whole thing. They spent more time reading proclamations and honoring well-deserved people than they did actually having a debate. One person stood up and talked, and that was it.
And he did a great job.
He did a great job.
Yeah. I mean, but this is, I mean,
fait accompli before you even walked in.
For sure. And it was a fait accompli on Friday night when they informed members of the irrelevant committees who happened to be in the minority party what was in it. And then those people dutifully went along and voted for it. Right. And again, you can say 4% pay raise for teachers. That's great. 10% increase in discretionary state spending 2 years over 2 years.
And I do, and we want to make sure we're being transparent. There also is a raise for members of the House of Delegates in the Senate, which I think is important. Normally, I would be screaming.
But that's only a 300% raise, Rich. That's only 300%.
Well, I get if we just throw this out there and we don't mention that, then I think we wouldn't be as transparent.
Yeah.
Although I understand it. I understand it because I couldn't afford to be in the House of Delegates because I couldn't take 3 months off of my job and still keep my job. So it does make it so maybe we get some responsible people that would run for office.
For those of your listeners who are not regular listeners, when I say that's only 300%, that's tongue in cheek. I'm deadpanning that one. It's insanity. You should look at the increase in spending versus the increase in revenue intake and how we've cooked the books with brand new rosy projections just in time to justify more spending, right? I mean, it's something. But again, the thing that galls me is the argument that we shouldn't legislate through the budget, and then a bunch of people who say that repeatedly vote for a budget which was essentially a lawmaking vehicle for things that couldn't pass in daylight, right?
Is this normal?
Wouldn't have passed with full debate. It's not normal. It's nothing. It's not remotely precedented.
Okay,
but
so wait a minute. I want to make sure. Wait a minute. I want to make sure that I understand this. Again, new kid here. Is it normal to be able to do something as major as retail marijuana stores will be coming to your neighborhood? 235 of these licenses will be handed out in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Is it common to have something that impactful being part of a budget process, or is it normally something like a bill?
Yeah, but about a third of the budget is all about establishing retail marijuana stores. No, it's not normal. It's never been done before. 1,967 references to marijuana and cannabis in a 600-page, a little bit more than that, budget document. Because they passed a bill, the governor vetoed the bill. They didn't have the votes to override or veto. And so they just did it through the budget where literally you got Luke Torian in the House, Senator Lucas in the Senate, and the governor. Oh, by the way, they've increased the size of the governor's full-time staff by 20%. They've hired 11 new attorneys in the Attorney General's office in the federal litigation unit to sue the Trump administration. I mean, you just can't. I used to work at the OAG.
You can't make this up.
Yeah, there's going to be 351 attorneys there. I used to work at the Office of the Attorney General years ago, and somebody asked me how many attorneys work at the OAG, and my response was, I don't know, about half of them.
Wow.
I mean, you got a bunch of people there who we don't know what they do for a living.
I've got homework for you. Tom Garrett joining us right now. Member of the House of Delegates, former member of the House of Representatives. I got homework for you because I can't figure this out. They did have something in there. Nick Minock from up in D.C., TV reporter, that they were eliminating in the budget that we would have audits of statewide elected officials' campaign donations and expenditures, and then random tests for members of the House of Delegates, members of the General Assembly and the Senate. Did that make it into the final budget? Can you find that out for me?
Yeah, no, it's there. It's there. So we had audited your campaign finance reports to make sure you weren't doing stuff like Ruben Gallego buying yourself Super Bowl tickets with campaign money, and they got rid of that in the budget. Didn't pass a bill to do it.
To me, and again, I said this yesterday, any Republican that voted for this, I'm going to come find you in the General Assembly office, and I'm going to ask you on mic why you voted for something like that.
I don't know how you get to masquerade as a fiscal conservative and then vote for a 10% discretionary increase over 2 years while saying, look how good this is. We gave teachers a 4% raise. They cut money for sheriff's deputies and other law enforcement. We increased the governor's full-time. Look, she's a part-time governor because it's a part-time assembly. So she's going to go to probably about 60 full-time employees working for her. We couldn't find them during the General Assembly session. You know who said that? Louise Lucas.
Okay.
Right? The Democrats couldn't find the governor's staff.
Okay,
I got a lot. Finding Governor Youngkin's staff, which was 20% smaller.
I got so much to go through in this budget that I've been carrying on about. But if you could help me, because the other thing I want to know is I want to know who put that caveat in the budget that said we are no longer going to audit governor, lieutenant governor, and attorney general. I think we need to know that name that put that out there.
Well, we may never know that name, but the two conferees that matter are the chairman of the House Appropriations Committee, Delegate Torian, and the chairwoman of Senate Finance, Senator Lucas, right? Nothing's in there that they didn't approve of, ultimately. That's what the last 100 and some odd days late were over. And so we don't know who said, hey, I got an idea, but we do know said, okay, well, let's leave it in there. And both of them had to have agreed on it or it wouldn't be there. And the governor. I
don't know how any Virginian could not be personally offended by that. But Tom, we got to run. We'll talk again next week. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Tom Garrett, give people where they can find you on social media.
Yeah, Delegate Tom Garrett. We actually live blogged this session yesterday. So you can find that Delegate Tom Garrett on Facebook, Tom Garrett JR on Twitter, Garrett in Exile on X. That one's kind of slow coming. And yeah, man, we're just going to keep on telling the truth until they find some horrible thing to say to try to run us out of there. But I got nothing to lose. So there it is. This is your most trusted politician signing off, Rich.
Thank you very much. Tom Garrett joining us here on News Radio WRVA. I'm offended by the whole idea that we're no longer going to audit the campaign finances of statewide elected officials. And the Democratic General Assembly went on with it. And I'm actually going to see if I can get a statement from the governor, what she thinks about that. Today's program brought to you apart by Greer Financial Group.